you will have all the formats you need to fill in such an initiative. But it will also, at this moment, be something like a first accessibility check, which means it has to do with the competencies of the European Union, European Commission. This will be one of the you can say, key aspects, that it will be an initiative which the Commission basically is able to make policies about. If you just say, we want to have peace in Europe, or if we want to have a nicer weather, or whatsoever, which is not in the competence of the European Union and the European Commission, it will not be possible to make an initiative about it. A third big issue will be, of course, the translations, because we have 23 official languages in Europe. This issue of the translations is an issue which is not totally solved, because under this regulation which we have, the initiators, the organizers, will be responsible for the translations. But still, the Commission will help you, will help us to check if the different forms of the initiatives are correct, so not somebody in Bulgaria is signing a totally different initiative than, for instance, in Poland or in Finland. And fourthly, it will be about the e-gathering software, because this is really a unique premiere with such an initiative, right? Because in no other place in the world today it's possible to make formal citizen initiatives electronically. So it's in a way from nothing to 100 when it comes to that, and that will be, of course, a major challenge, practically but also technically. And the Commission will provide a software which is certified from the very beginning, so you don't have to find out this technology yourself, and it will be like that because everybody has an eligibility in some country, in Poland or in Germany or in Spain, so you will have to register under your nationality you are able to vote. And one has also to say that in each of these countries there will be different necessities to give information. In some places you just have to give your birthday, your name. In other places you also have to indicate, for instance, the ID number of your passport or your ID card. So there will be different rules, and we can discuss that a little bit more. But at this point, you will also have to have an organizing committee, an initiative committee. And the initiative committee requires that you are 7 people from 7 different countries. And again, you can see here already the idea of the transnationality of this European Citizen Initiative is a key aspect of it. So in the very beginning, you will have to have a group of people from 7 different countries to start such an initiative. Next, please. After having done all that, and after 2 months, you will get your number at the latest, and then you are able to sign, to gather signatures all over Europe. And this signature gathering process will, of course, be let's say, the heart of the whole process, because during this time you will have to have at least 0.2% of the people signing in at least 7 countries. And there is a model for that, creating a respective number of signatures. You have representatives in the European Parliament times 750, which creates something like a sliding scale. That means in small countries like Malta or Luxembourg, you need a little bit more. You need maybe almost 1% of the people. But in big countries, Germany, Poland, Italy, you need less than 0.2%. So the model is a little bit to create lesser hurdles in big countries and a little bit higher in smaller countries. But during this whole process, of course, the dialogue and the discussion, the communication will be very important. So that's something to reflect on from the very beginning. This map shows you just a small overview in which countries you can gather signatures. In each of these countries, there will be specific rules for how to gather signatures, which means in which way you have to indicate that you are eligible. Basically, you can say just one country, Austria, has today the eligibility from 16 years, while all other countries have it from 18 years. But there will be certain rules, for instance, for people living in another country or outside Europe, if they are eligible to sign or not. Because of course you can think that this website will be accessible all over the world. So a Polish citizen in New Zealand should be able to sign such an initiative as well. But certain countries like Britain do not have a register of voters, so as a Brit abroad you will not be able to sign, for instance. So this 12 months, 365 days is the maximum to use for gathering at least 1 million signatures from at least 7 countries. After that, you have to send all these signatures to the respective countries, which means the Polish signatures to Poland, the Italian to Italy, the Swedish to Sweden. And there will be an authority, a national authority, to check and to verify if these signatures are valid. And this will be, of course, a major challenge because you have different traditions of that. How well received, how open a national authority is to this type of signature gathering. We heard at another meeting from Bulgarian friends that they said they have got the national initiative right, but when they do a national initiative, the security service is coming home to them to ask which IDs they have. So you have a very different way of approaching this instrument of citizen initiative, and that will create certainly problems. But after 3 months, these member states have to certify the signatures, and then you can deliver them to the European Union. And you will then have these different challenges to meet as a thresholds, I have said, 1 million from 7 countries at least, the verification, and finally the certification. So the last official phase, the fifth phase, will be again 3 months, and this will be the 3 months which is basically you're going on stage. That means your initiative, if it's going over all these thresholds, will be an official European issue. And this will mean that you will have a lot of tasks regarding communication vis-à-vis the media, vis-à-vis other people, but also there will be official hearings at the European Parliament. So as a reward for all these efforts, you will be able to go to the European Parliament together with the Commission discussing these issues and hopefully also get support from different other institutions for this case. And that means the whole process, the official process, takes about 20 to 22 months. But of course, looking into the pre-phase and the phase after of the implementation, you can expect that the European Citizen Initiative will take 3, 4, 5 years of work. So again, if you are summarizing this instrument, you can say it's an instrument which creates a communication over time and over space. It's an instrument which creates an agenda setting right for quite a small minority of Europeans vis-à-vis the European institutions. And you have to see that this European Citizen Initiative is exactly the same right as the European Parliament, the majority have, and the Member States have, to propose to the Commission a new legislation. Now, in concluding that, to assess this instrument, how useful is it, how big success will it be? You can say, first, the Agenda Initiative. The Agenda Initiative is in one way a useful instrument because you have the right to put something in the agenda, but of course it's only half the, you can say, the price of direct democracy. It's not a decisive decision-making process. It's only agenda setting, and this has to be considered when you use this instrument. Secondly, you can say there are, for this procedure, the agreement are clear rules of the game. And this is maybe some of the best things which happen to this process, is that the rules of the game are much clearer than they are in most member states of the European Union. When you look into how the national initiative or local initiative is used in this country, you can see so many hurdles, so many ways of undermining it. So I would say from an outset, the instrument as such is well designed, is well regulated. So this is a positive thing. And then we come to the role of the member states, and this is of course a question mark. As I've already said, there are so different cultures regarding participatory democracy in Europe, so this will be a major, I would say, a major problem possibly, that certain countries, certain people in certain countries will have less accessibility to this others, but hopefully this will also create a pan-European, let's say, a mainstreaming of direct democratic instruments. And then, as I have outlined in the beginning, of course, conceptually, historically, this is a major breakthrough because it's the first direct, the first transnational, the first digital instrument at the same time, which we haven't had at any place, in any place of the world. And finally, you can say it will be open to the effect. We will not know how many of these initiatives will succeed, how much the attention will be, and how much this instrument will change the European Union in a positive democratic way. So now, what can we do in order to optimize, to use this instrument in the best possible way? I would say there's really three big tasks: information, education, and support. Information, because the problem is today we can do all these type of seminars like here, but this is just a little drop in the big sea. 99.9% of Europeans have no idea about this instrument, and they will not, maybe 99.1% will not have an idea next year when this instrument will start. So basically you can say all governments, all political parties, all media, all European Union institutions, all civil society would now need to take a major, let's say, effort to make this instrument more knowledgeable to the people, because it's a citizen right, a new, innovative one, but most people have no idea about it, and maybe they will not have so much idea. And why is that a problem? Because it's a problem that it will be limited to those who are already well established, those who have already a lot of accessibility to instruments in the European Union. So to making it a real direct democratic instrument, we would need to have much more information. Secondly, you can go to the next, education. Because there will be such an enormous amount of people trying to get knowledge suddenly when you will hear about the first citizen initiatives. Because as long as there is no real right, no real practice, this is an abstract thing for people like you and me who are most interested and know a little bit about it. But for most people it will only become an issue when they will hear about, here are an initiative about this moral issue, this is one about a nationalistic mood, this is about nuclear power. So people will suddenly discover this is a new right we have in Europe. And then they will go maybe to the municipality, to the regional government, or even to the European Union representations. And there will be people who will need to inform the people about it, to educate them. So what is needed now is the education of these future trainers and informateurs of the European Citizen Initiative. And also this, I cannot really see yet that there is a real serious approach to that. You have to see that the European Union, the Commission, they have planned to have 2 full-time people working with them. 2 people for whole of Europe. So it's not really so serious as we would expect. And finally, the support level. Because it's not only about having the right, it's not only about having knowledge about this instrument, it's also about the possibility to really use it. And if you compare how political bodies, parties, even partly civil society organizations sometimes get support from the European Union, or even a parliament have an infrastructure. My main point is that when you are introducing such an instrument like the European Citizen Initiative, there needs to be a European democratic infrastructure for all of European citizens to use it. So what is the request is basically that we have to build up an infrastructure for people to be able to use that. So what we will see is a need of both governmental and non-governmental support infrastructures. And this will also be a major thing to develop in the next years. The European Union has just committed to very small parts of support, and you can say there are certain tools from institutions like mine but other also to give a little bit of help. But this is far too little, and we need much more of that. And this is, I would say, an introduction from my side. Thank you very much.